Welcome back to the Coaching Life Podcast. Day 9 of the 12 days of coaching. And this song is absolutely appropriate for the topic we're going to discuss today. Although Pat says he's never heard this song before. Wait for it. Here it comes. There we go.
Really puts you in the Christmas mood.
Yeah, buddy. We added this to our strength training playlist
I can see that.
during Christmas time. And the guys, when it first came on, I remember the guys like, oh, we're putting Christmas music in here, though, aren't we? And then when it hit that driving part right there, they're like, all right, we can lift to this. What do you think?
I'm starting to buy in.
Yeah.
I'm suddenly starting to buy in.
Heck yeah, man. That's good stuff right here. And it's especially good when you're talking about butt chewings.
Right.
Getting a butt chewing, giving a butt chewing, receiving a butt chewing, and then watching as your child gets a butt chewing.
Yeah.
That's the hardest one.
Right. We probably disagree with all those, don't we? There's no place in
There's no place in coaching or no place in sports. Yeah. If you've ever listened to our podcast before, particularly about 3 episodes ago,
Right.
you might find, or you might discover that Pat and I are actually not against giving, dishing out, or receiving, or having our own kids get a butt chewing
Right.
when it's appropriate, when
Yeah.
it's needed. It's good for them. It's good for everybody. Good for all of us.
You know, I think of the there's a reason that our military personnel, our armed forces, drill sergeants and things like that, when you go into, basic training or boot camp or whatever, the different branches you go to, and a lot of that experience is someone just screaming their head off right in your face, putting you under intense pressure and just, nonstop chewing your butt, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think they understand that that's an essential part of personal development. So one of my coaching buddies and friends told me the other day that the Marine Corps' definition of discipline is the instant, willing obedience to all orders, respect for authority, and teamwork.
Man, that's good.
And they did, one of the ways they deliver that definition or that understanding is through butt chewings. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, your ability to take one is, let's start there. Let's begin there. As a player, there's going to be a time when you screw up and your coach is angry because it could be it could be any given thing. Who knows what it might be. And you're going to get lashed out at, And so here's the question. How do you respond? It happens to all of us. How are you going to respond in that particular situation? And I think one of the things that we would like to encourage everyone in, if you're an athlete and you find yourself in this situation, is be prepared for this.
Yeah.
And think about how you're going to respond, because I'll tell you what, the majority of people in today's world, maybe not the majority, but a lot of people in today's world do one of 3 or 4 things. They'll pout, they'll shrink back, they'll it'll almost melt sometimes when someone gets on them, or they might talk back, and I've heard it maybe not talk back directly to the coach,
Right.
but go to mom and dad or go on social media or go back to their friends and say things like this. Have you ever heard this phrase? He called me out in front of everyone. He called me out in front of everyone. How dare he call me out in front of everyone?
Right.
What is that?
It's weakness.
It is. That's a great word. It's weakness. It's selfishness. It's pride.
I wish it was something
Getting in-
that we could see more of, like inside of professional locker rooms, film rooms and things like that. I read an article.
People would be appalled, probably.
Probably, but maybe we would be more prepared for it because, when you, like Tom Brady, Bill Belichick says that he doesn't know how anyone can get better without criticism.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I read an article that, Bill Belichick will at times in their in their career has really dressed down Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Oh yeah, you see
Yeah,
it
in a film room.
Well, and I've seen it on. I mean, maybe not in recent years, but if you look back over Tom Brady's career, you've seen it on the sidelines even.
Yeah.
You certainly see Tom Brady dressing down his teammates.
Yeah.
You know, someone who's earned the right to do that because of the relationship and the way he plays and his own leading by example, routines. And
It's part of a
and they
leadership
respond to
role,
him.
right?
Yeah, they respond to him. Yeah, there's a lot that could be said about this, and I think that when we talk about butt chewings, we're talking to all three groups of people that we tend to talk to on this podcast. We're talking to the athlete, we're talking to the coaches, and we're talking to the parents. And we spent an entire episode pretty much talking to coaches about it. When tough and in your face coaching, when is it appropriate, when's it not? We touched on how to receive that as a parent as well, but I think it's important for us to realize, for us to like we said, be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And how can you be prepared? Think about how you're going to respond. So, player, if you're going to receive a butt chewing, the best thing you can do in that moment is whether you feel like it or not. Pat said it's weakness for you to not be able to receive it very well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to the opposite of that. What do you need to do? You need to be tough. How can you model toughness when someone's in your face and they're chewing you out? Well, here's some very specific ways to do it. Keep your poise, make eye contact with coach who's dressing you down in that moment, and make sure that your body language is one that says, "I'm hearing what you're saying." And if you have any response at all, it should probably just be "Yes, sir," "Yes, ma'am,"
right,
and receive it
and use it.
Use it.
It's valuable information.
Yeah, exactly.
What? There's no easier way to stand out to your coach than to take some criticism from him or her and improve upon that.
Right.
That's
Right.
immediate. I mean, they'll see because they're watching it. They see the mistake or whatever it is. They'll immediately see the correction.
I think, yeah, exactly. I think one of the problems is that a lot of people, it's just like anything else. When we try to have communication that involves some difficult subjects, and you're debating something with someone, perhaps, one of the biggest problems in that communication comes when you no longer are listening to the person that you're debating against. You're basically waiting for them to stop talking so that you can share what you have in your mind.
Right.
And then they're doing the same thing. They're waiting for you to stop talking so they can share what you have. And then all you end up doing is talking over top of each other and nothing gets solved. There's no listening involved.
Yeah.
If there's no listening, there's not really any communication going on.
True.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing at all. And so I think what happens is we immediately feel like it's not justified, it's not right that coach is doing this to me, that I don't deserve this, and so we shut it off, and we don't think about how it can really make us better. We don't think about what's the positive that can come from this. And I'll tell you what, here's one positive that you could do, even if you don't think that this is deserving, that you deserve this, or you don't think it's good in any way. Here's one of the best things you can do. Move on.
Yeah. Right.
Take your butt chewing. Move on.
Yeah.
That's a huge message for today's world in a lot of ways. People have such a hard time today moving on. Hearing something that you don't agree with and going, yeah, okay. And moving on.
That's a really good point.
We have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
In all of society today.
I think that's an aspect of mental strength. And we've had parents ask us, how do we make our kids mentally tougher?
Yeah.
Don't protect them from butt chewings.
Yeah, don't protect them.
Yeah.
It's a great word to parents, right? It's not going to break them. It's not going to it will not break them. They are more resilient than you think. So we are quick to want to rush in and protect them from it. We're quick to want to make a big deal about it. I'll even say this, the parent who tends to make a big deal of stuff like that ends up breaking a kid more than
more
the butt chewing
detrimental.
itself.
Yeah.
It ends up being more detrimental to their development.
I agree
both
with
a
you.
person, as an
And
athlete.
we're not condoning abuse.
Of course not.
That's not what we're saying.
course
But
not.
we have to, we have to be
You
able
gotta
to
understand
identify
where
that.
it becomes abuse too.
Right,
I mean, come
exactly.
on. A lot of stuff just is not abuse.
Yeah, right.
That people
I
want to
agree.
call abuse. It's just not.
Yeah.
And we dealt with that in another episode, but yeah. So I mean, I think, we could say something to coaches as we maybe wrap this up. I think coaches need to be careful to not yell and scream all the time.
Yeah, you ever use it.
It's a point
We've
that we
talked
made
about
in
that
tough
before,
coaching.
yeah.
If all you do is yell and scream, then it becomes white noise.
Yep.
And when you need to dress down someone, they're not.
Loses its
They're
effect.
tuning you out. Yeah, it has no effect because that's just the way coach is all the time.
There's some strategy involved from a coaching perspective
Yeah.
on when this can be useful and when it can't. So
Yeah.
butt chewings. Thumbs up.
Yeah. Day 9. Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you again soon.